Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to RCT Workshop, Introduction to Linux. My name is Julie. I'm the Scientific Application Specialist at Research Computing Center. That is the HPC center of the university. And today, we're going to talk about Linux. And these are the topics we're going to cover today. We're getting started from the concept of operating system and Linux as an operating system. And we'll talk a little bit about the file system and how it's structured. And after that, we will dive into the application session. Here we have some hands-on practice. We'll do that together. And we'll talk about Linux terminal, how to use the terminal to access the Linux system. And then commands is the focus of this workshop. Hope at the end of the workshop, you all have some idea, have some skills to use Linux environment freely. So this is the basic thing about what we're going to do today. And I will stop here for questions. And please, and you're always welcome to ask questions whenever you have. And raise your hand. For those attendees online, you can type your questions on chat, and my colleague Alex, he will take charge of everything, and he is there. Another of my colleague Jose is here, and for the in-classroom students will help you with everything. Let's get started. Operating system. So, what is operating system? We all use computers every day, but have you ever stopped and wondered how does the computer work? Why you clicking on icon or you type a command and the computer responds to you? Computer is a complex system that integrates hardwares and softwares, and it is the operating system that coordinates all of the hardwares and softwares together to perform a wide range of tasks. So this is the basic thing about operating system. Let's look at the picture using a visualized way to see how operating system works. So this is operating system. It is a software, and it runs all the time with other of the application softwares and provide the users with the interface. On the other hand, operating system have kernel programs, and the kernel will manage the hardware. So we always say that operating system is the bridge between hardware and the end users. So this is the basic thing. We all use computer, and I believe that everybody have already used operating system. So can anyone name an operating system you have already? I'm sorry?
Windows.
Very good. Windows is one, and by Microsoft, anything else you can think about?
Mac.
Very good. Mac. These are the most popular ones for computers. Have you ever think of, do you get the notice to upgrade iOS? That is another operating system. That is for cell phones, for tablets, and that is by Apple, and all other smartphones is use Android. So these are the operating system we have already familiar with, right? And today we are going to talk about Linux. So Linux is an operating system, and it is an open source operating system. When we talk about Linux, two key components. One is Linux kernel, developed by Linus Torvalds in 1991, and the other large group is the lot of softwares and tools, among which the GNU project is the pioneer, starting from 1980s. A lot of influential softwares, such as we'll talk about Emacs, the text editor. You may heard of GCC, which is a C compiler, and we'll talk about Bash today. So that is the shell program. And a lot. Today, some of the commands such as copy CP is by GNU project. So actually, we have used a lot of the softwares and tools from GNU and also some others. When we talk about open source of Linux, it means that we are free to use the source code. We are free to modify it, and we can also distribute it. This feature makes Linux very highly customizable. How do I say that? Because we can tailor the system according to each of the user's specific needs. And Linux has robust security and stability, lightweight and efficient. It can run on a very small devices, and it can also run a very large scale system. So it has powerful command line interface. So all of these features made Linux very popular among developers and HPC systems. So this is the basic thing about Linux. And the interface is the part that we will, our end users will interact with. So let's take a look about the interface. We have two types of interface. The first type is graphical user interface. We call it GUI. And I believe that everybody uses it every day, right? We click and point and touch and drag and drop. And there are some icons, menus, buttons, and windows there, and we can click and we can point. This is one type, and most of the operating system use a graphical interface. Command line interface used by Linux. It is the text-based program, meaning we can only use the commands and options. Options are the things to add to the commands. We'll talk about later. And we can only use command to communicate with the system. There's no mouse anymore. The only thing you can use is the keyboard. So this is the basic thing about command line interface. And this is Windows. And we see it's primarily GUI because we can still use terminal to access command line interface. We'll do that together today. And this is command line interface. However, we see that it's primarily command line interface because many of the operating system, Linux operating system, also provide graphical user interface. This is from Ubuntu Linux. And I believe that for many of the Linux learners, this might be your first one to use, and this is my first one to learn Linux. So in short, GUI interface is kind of straightforward and easy to learn, even for kiddos, right? But Linux use the command line interface, which we only can use commands. And it needs some a slight learning curve. At least we need to know these commands. And this is the reason why we have this workshop. File system. File system is a logical hierarchical structure that operating system use to manage, to organize, to access data and on the storage device. When we talk about data, it could be files, programs, pictures, videos, any of the documents, and the storage device. Since we are talking about file system, it refers to the secondary storage, which is the hard disk. Could be SSD and HDD. And in the file system, typically we have two kinds of files. The first one is just a single file. And the types could be a lot. And I believe that you may have already used many of them. And please note that the extension here will tell you what kind of file it is, right? Let's take a look at this line, source code. If you see .cs extension, it is the C program, and C++, and Java, and Python, and MATLAB, and there might be a lot, right? And for many of the compiling language, you cannot run this file directly. You need to compile it into the executable files. And batch file, you will see an example today. And the batch file will contain a series of commands. means that when you submit that to the system, it will read the commands one by one. It is ideal for those repetitive jobs or for those complex workflow and doesn't need a user interact. So this kind of job, you can use a batch file. Directories is another large hub. Directories is a collection of files and subdirectories, and it may contain the information about attributes, location, ownership, size, and timestamps, right? And the file system maintained as a tree structure. This is very important. As a tree structure, everything is derived from the single root. And we can see that leaves and branches are all contained within this root. And the tree structure design is for the ease of search and organization. So let's take a look of the Linux file system. This is a very small example, and the real one would be very large tree. And we are getting started from the root. And the root is the highest level in this tree structure, right? And all other files and directories are contained within the root. Now, I will give you two statements, and please let me know whether it's true or false. The first one, if I say each of the file or directory in the file system have its unique parent directory, is it true or false?
True.
True? Some others?
Interesting.
Okay, why do you think it's true?
At least for like the USR, there's like a common parent folder, var, common parent folder. Then I guess for the other ones, they all kind of fall under root.
Okay, cool. That is good. That is a good answer. And for those who said no, why? Why not?
Wrong.
Okay, I think you have the feeling that I think this statement is generally true, but except root. Right. That is the thing you said. Perfect. So this is the first statement. That's the second one. If I say that from the root, I can find a way to any of the folders and files in this file system. Is that true or false? Absolutely true. Very good. So this is the definition about paths. Path is a set of directories that move down from the root to locate that file or directory. So this is the definition of path. And directories name can be separated by / in Linux and Mac and / in Windows. So this is the basic thing about the concept of operating system and Linux and file system. Let's recap quickly, and I will leave some time for you for questions. So we talk about operating system. So what is that? It is a bridge between the hardware and users. Very good. And how about Linux as an operating system? Talk about Linux kernel, we talk about softwares and tools, and command line interface, which is use command only, right, from keyboard. So how about Linux file system? We should know that it is the way that operating system organize the files. And what is the structure of that? Tree structure. So this is a very basic but important concept. And any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions online? Good. So if you don't have any questions, let's move to the next session. And we'll talk about Linux terminal. So we talk about kernel, and that is the core programs that manage hardware. And shell is the outermost that to provide us with the interface, right? So this is the area of operating system, right? And you may also hear some other terms such as terminal. And we talk about command line interface. What's the difference of this concept? Let's take a look. So when talk about shell, it means it is a program that takes commands from the keyboard and send them to operating system to perform. So it is the outermost of operating system. And the examples could be bash and that is the default setting for most of the Linux operating system. And you may also heard some of Z shell, Key shell, and Fish, and Z shell and Fish are two popular ones. When talk about terminal or command line interface, so they are kind of refers to the same thing. It means that we need some applications that to launch a shell for you and provide you with the interface. So it is text-based only, and the terminals, if you want to install one in your own computer, if you use MacBook, you can choose iTerm 2, and if you use Windows PowerShell, and PuTTY, TACTIA, Mobile Xterm, actually there are a lot, and you can choose either one. But make sure you have a terminal to access to the Linux system. Okay, so if you have a computer, but that is not yours, you cannot download it. If you want to use Linux system, you can consider Open On Demand, which is a web portal that RCC provided, and we'll use that to do the demo and all of the hands-on sections today. Okay. The terminal, you can issue commands there to perform tasks. You can monitor the operations and status here, and there are several ways to log into the computers or remote system with some of the protocols. And SSTP is a file transfer one, and today we'll talk about SSH. This is a very important one that we may use each time when we access the system. So this is how you can use SSH. And when you type SSH from a terminal window and username at a host name can lead you there. This is an example. I'm using iTerm 2 from my MacBook. And when I type SSH, this is my FSU RCC ID, and then at HPC login, this is the host name. And from here, it will ask you for a password. But when you type the password here, something will happen. Nothing will happen here, actually. So don't stop. And no worries, that is Linux. You won't see anything, but you still need to type the correct password to log in here. And from here, you can run your program, you can do anything and write any command here. And this is what we call the terminal window. The general format of terminal window is username at hostname, and then colon is not a must. And the current directories will show where you are. This is very important. The $sign is called prompt symbol. It will show you that from here, everything else is a command. Okay, and this is the text area. You can type your commands. So let's take a look at our system. Today we'll have workshop account. This is the username, right? And when you log in, you will on a login node. This is the host. And the tilde here, who knows is, anybody know what is that? It is the,
You're in the root directory?
yes, very good. That is the home directory. And home directory is where you log in. When you log in, everybody will have a home directory. And from there, your tree will get started. And this is the prompt symbol. And this is the text area. Make sense? Okay. Any questions so far? If you don't have, any questions from online?
Give them a second to type.
So if you don't have any questions, let's do the first hands-on practice. And for the first question, we will using a terminal to log on the system. And let's do this question together. And I will show how to do that, and let's do that together. If you have already logged into your computer in this room, and that might be a Windows computer, right? And if you type terminal here from your computer, you will get here. So this is the Windows PowerShell that you can use today. And if you want to try, and for those students online, if you have a Mac, if you use Mac, just use a Mac and iTerm, sorry. And if you use Windows, you need to have a PowerShell or you need to download one. Okay, so for the students in class, let's do it together. I'm going to use SSH. And then your workshop. This is my and HPC login. And when you hit enter, it will ask you for password. So if you are the first time to log in, you may see that fingerprint and just type yes. And from the second time, you don't need to do that. Okay, so here, if you type the password, not correct. Okay, if you type your password correctly, you will be here. And here we call it the terminal window, right? Okay, this is one way you can use. Any questions so far? And for those students in class, if you need some help, raise your hand.
Yeah, frozen.
Frozen.
Seemed to be. Started out, actually, I thought I was gonna just do like command line thing. I was in PowerShell. I got in. Now,
I'm close.
when I try to do terminal, yeah. Seems like so. Page. So. Doesn't like your password, but we. Should I try to just log in?
It's.
So go ahead and enter it. ID. Yeah. Then you should be able to, there we go. Okay. Thanks. All right. All good.
All good, right? Okay. So this is the first way you can log in the system. And I will show you how to use OpenDemand to log in. And if you Google OOD FSU, and there's OpenDemand webpage, and click that, and connect to OpenDemand. From here, that's it. Type your workshop account, ID, and username and password. and click log into. If you see that. See that really fast. It doesn't matter, just refresh the page. And now we are here. And when you get to this page, did you see the clusters? Click that. And you are here. It's the same thing as you use the terminal, right? So if you doesn't have a terminal on your computer, this is the way you can log on the HPC system. And but make sure you need to have an RCC account ID, okay? And we'll talk about it later. So this is how you can use a terminal or open on demand to log on the system. And if everybody is good at that, let's continue with the second question. Type these commands and see what the output. So remember that from the $sign, there will be the commands, right? You don't need to include the dollars and just type this command. And it will give you some output and see what's that, okay? Check the answer together. If you type it, it will show the date and time right now. And if you type MI, it will tell you that your user ID, right? And the host name will tell you the host name, right? And echo is a command that can print out the string, the argument for you. So this is whatever you put it here will print out on the screen. So this is echo, okay? And the hello word here or whatever string here we call the argument. And this is the first practice questions. Any questions? Okay. Check the commands in terminals. And we are going to talk about the basic file and directory commands. And the first group is the commands about how to create files, edit files, view a file, move and copy, remove. After that, we'll have another hands-on practice. And the second group is how to navigate on the Linux system, how to change directory, and how to list the files, and how to find a file if you suddenly want to know where one of my files is located at where. And the basic information commands will help you know some of the such as the things what we did for MI. These are the basic information. And getting help. And some of the commands you can check with the help, which means that after this workshop, if you have questions of any of the commands here, you can use getting help commands to help you learn this commands later. So this is the basic things about the command section, and we'll have another hands-on practice here. Creating files. So remember that we talk about directories and files. If you want to create a directory, this is how you can do it. mkdir, what does it mean? It means make directory. Very good. So if you are not, you are the beginner of Linux, my suggestion is that if you know the meaning of that command, it's very easy to remember actually. You don't need to remember that directly. So when you see the command, I will let you know what the meaning of that command is, and it's easy to remember after that, right? So this is make directory with a directory name, and you will have a new directory, okay? And if you want to create a file without open it, without editing it, you can use touch. And touch with a file name or with several file names separated by space, and you can find create the new files. Touch have another usage, which is if you touch a file or touch a directory for the second time, for existing one, it will update the timestamp for you. So this is to create a new file, right? And this is to create a directory. So I have a question here. So think about if I use the uppercase demo or lowercase, do you think it's the same file or not? No.
Oh,
Very good. So always remember that Linux is case sensitive, just like your password, okay? And now if I touch the same file again, what do I do?
updated.
It's the timestamp. Very good. So touch can only create a file, but that is the empty one. If you want to edit a file, you need a text editor. So these are the common text editors. And we talk about Emacs by GNU, and the source code is written by Richard Stallman for Emacs. And another one, popular one is Nano. And V and Vim are the same thing. And these are all very good text editors to learn to use. I'm going to show you with Vim, which I use that. And if you want to go into the file, type Vim, Nano, or Emacs with the file name, and you will be here. From here, you have left the terminal window. So this is a page you can edit your file. Just like you open your Word and then getting started to edit, right? So this is, I can demo here to see how we can. Now, I'm going to create a file. If I want to create an empty one using hash, right? I'm going to create a file called hello. Now, if I want to create it another folder, a directory, can I use this one? The same one? Yes or no? Yes. Okay, let's see. Actually, no. Although they are different types, but as I say that Linux is case sensitive, you cannot use the same name for two things, okay? And I need to make some changes, right? How about this one? It works, right? I can also make it of demo, as we say. And if I want to take a look of whether I successfully created these files, I can use ls, which is to list. As we can see the demo, hello, and this is the folder. And I don't know whether you can figure out that there are different colors here, right?
Yeah.
And the blue color means that is a directory, and the white one is files, right? And the green one is executable files that you can run directly, okay? And this is the basic thing about how you can create an empty file. If I want to edit a file, I'm using Vim and the file name, and I will be here. So here is the editing page. From here, if you want to insert some contents to here, you need to type I to go to the insert mode. And for example, I'm going to write one line. I'm writing one line to include a library here. And this is how you can type and write programs. And if you want to get out, you need to enter escape. And this now you will in the command mode. And here, if you want to copy and paste and undo, and there are another set of commands that is different from Linux command. So we won't include the this part of information here in the introduction of Linux. Otherwise, you will get confused. So if you want to learn a text editor and how to use that, there are a lot of online resources. It is not hard. It's just different from the Windows Word. So, and you don't need to know all of them. Just choose one and stick to that. And I include two of the Vim tutorial at the end of the slides. And these are the tutorials will teach you something, and then you can practice with some interactive practice. And that those are very good resources. And stick to one. And after a while, you will feel much comfortable about these text editors. Now, I'm going to log out. If I want to come out and back to the terminal window, I need to type save the file and quit. You see here. And I'm writing that file means that I want to save the file and quit. And I'm back. So this is the basic thing about text editors. As I say that if I want to use a text editor, I can edit a file. And I can also use a text editor to view a file. You see here. But if you don't want to make any changes of the file, you don't need to do that. You can print that on the screen. So this is the command we are going to talk. We are talking about how to view files. If you want to view a file, and you can use cat. Cat is a good one. Cat will print out everything on the screen. And cat means concatenate, meaning you can put two files here and it will print out two or more files to the screen. Make sense? Okay, let's take a look at less. Less is another very good command to use. Use less with a file name will print out some of the contents of that file to the screen. And as you scroll down, it will print more and more and until the end of the file. So we always say that less is more and it's a good command, okay? And head and tail are two important commands. You can print out the first 10 lines by default to the screen or the last 10 lines to the screen. So if you have a very large data set and you only want to view the first part, you can use head and tail. And please note that the 10 is a default one. You can use option to make the change of this number. Make sense? I will show you how to do that later. So this is how you can use cat. I put two files here, okay? And this is less. These are very good commands to remember and to use. Copy and move. If you want to move a file or directory to a destination, just use the command mv move. I want to move a file or a directory to a destination. So destination must be a directory. Make sense? And copy is the same. I want to copy a file, a directory to a destination. The destination must be a directory. And move has another usage. If you use move, file name 1 and file name 2, it will change the file from name 1 to name 2. So it will rename that file. And you can do that on a directory too. You can rename a directory. Okay? So this is the second usage of move, and we use that often. If I use move hello.txt, what do I do here?
Name.
Very good, rename. And if I copy the file to the directory, so what do? I'm doing the copy. And you will have two copies here, right? And how about here? If I move that file to the directory, what do?
You just move it.
Yes, I just moved it and I will have one copy, right? So here has some issue. If you use move, be cautious because it may have some overwritten problem. Think about the commands. If I do the copy commands first, I will have two copies. And then if I make some changes to one of them and then do the move, what will happen? One of them will be overwritten. Very good. So this is the things you need to pay attention to. And there are some ways to avoid. First, do not use the same name of the file. Another one, you can add some options to ask for interaction. I will show you how shortly. And deleting files. The command is rm is remove. Very good. I can remove one file. I can remove several here separated by space. And you can also use star to represent all the files in that working directory. And if you want to remove a directory directly, how to do that? rm-rf. Dash is the options, right? R means recursively. I want to force to recursively remove this directory. Why do I need to add the option? Because the directory may contain another one. If you want to remove this one, you need to remove the subdirectory first. So that means recursively do the thing of the whole directory. Make sense? Okay, let's be very cautious about the command of rm-rf and remove more than one file. The reason is that in Linux, we don't have any undo, no trash can, no recycle bin. So if you delete, everything will be gone. Okay, and we all have bad experience of remove command. So be very cautious if you delete a couple of files. Okay, so this is how you can remove one file. And this is how you can remove a directory. Very good. And this is to remove
All text files.
all the files ended with exe. Make sense? Okay, very good. And let's do some demos here. Now I'm going to clear the window and let's see. I will use list to check what's there. And now I have these files, right? If I want to view a file, I can use less. And I want to check the submit-trap.sh file. And this is how you can do that. And you are here. And if you want to get out of that, use Q. Okay, so this is how you can use less. And as I say that cat can see more than one file, right? Let's see hello and submit. If I click enter, what happens here? It will print out the first file, the content of first file, and the content of the second one. Make sense? Okay. If I want to take a look of the first few lines of submit.sh. So this is will print out the first 10 lines, right? And let's do another one. If I want to print out maybe 2, it will print out 2 of them. So this is what I say about options to make change of the default number to be printed out. And tail can do the same thing. And I printed out the last 2 lines of the file. Make sense?
Go ahead and clear and go up because we can't see.
I will. And let's do some copy and move, okay? I'm going to change the name of hello to hello.cpp so that I will know that it is a C++ file, right? And let's take a look at that. See, it's here, right? And now, if I'm going to copy the hello.cpp to demo, I will have two copies of that. One is in my home directory and the other, let's check the demo. I want to list out what's in demo and hello CPP is there. So now I have two copies, right? Suppose I want to make some changes to that. For example, I delete some of them and I'm going to write some of things in there. And we can zero, and now I make some changes to one of the files, right? If I will check whether I make changes, this is one in my home directory. And in demo, there's another one, right? Sorry. Yes. CPP and demo and hello.cpp. So I'm going to print out this file in my home directory and the same file in demo. And let's do that. Did you see that? This is the first file. And this is the second file. They are different files, right? Now, if I move the hello.cpp to demo, what will happen? Overwritten problem, yes. And there's one way to avoid is to add -i. It will ask you, do you really want to overwrite or not? So this is the way you can, I don't want to overwrite. So this is the way you can protect the files, okay? So this is about copy and move. If I want to check some of the remove commands, let's see. I'm going to touch something more, books.txt, news.txt, and cps.txt. So I can create several files at the same time, right? And now I have some txt files here. If I want to remove one, how to do that? rm and books, for example, I can remove one, right? And let's take a look. I don't have books here. So if I want to remove multiple files, to do that, I can list all of them here, right? Another way is I can write star, yes, .txt. If you write star, what will happen? All the files will be gone, right? So star with txt will define that I only want to remove the txt files. Make sense? Okay, I will do that and let's check. So no txt files anymore. And this is how you can remove a file. How to remove a directory. And I directly use remove. Let's see how to. No, we cannot do that. So how to remove a directory? rm-rf, and then let's check. This directory is not here. So this is the basic thing about how to create files, how to copy, move, and delete files. Do you have any questions? Any questions online?
Just one. What's the difference between rm-rf and rm-r?
Oh, actually, on our system, we don't have that difference because forced to recursively do that. If you set that interactively, it will keep asking you the question whether you want to delete the subdirectory or not. But our system just defaultly use we don't set the -i there, so it won't ask you for the question. But I set on my dash RC for dash I because I want to make sure sometimes I do not mistakenly delete things. So the thing is that if you add F there, it's forced to delete, meaning it will not ask you for questions and it will not, you cannot get it back. So this is the thing about RF and R. I know the difference of, because on our system, we do not set dash I there for interactive question about whether you want to delete or not. But you still can do that, and I highly recommend you to do that. You can do that to add to your bash RC file. Any questions so far? So if you don't, okay, yes, please.
Will these slides be available after?
Yes,
Oh,
for sure. We will provide the video and the slides and yes.
thank you.
Any questions so far? If you don't have questions, let's do the next hands-on practice. And this is the questions. And I want you to create two empty files. No worries about the text editor today. So create two files named command and testing. And then created a directory named workshop. And then you can try to remove one of the file, remove command, and rename the texting file to texting.txt and move the texting.txt to the folder you created. So this is the questions. And I will give you 5 minutes to do that and raise a hand if you have any questions.
Um, so how do you see if it's a particular file is contained in a particular directory?
Yes.
How do you see that this is contained?
Oh, we use ls, and that workshop. The enter. You see that? Workshop. You should type. You should type workshop. You can use tab. Just type a W. Just type W. I will show you an easy way. See what happens.
Oh.
Enter. Yes, and tab is a very good one. I will introduce that later. And you don't need to type. You will make some mistakes sometimes. So just use tab to find the exact file for you. Yeah. We need some time. Good. I'm going to do these questions with you and you can check the answers, okay? And I will create. Going to clear the screen first and now I'm going to create two, yes, please.
How do you clear the screen?
Just type clear. You can see that CLEAR and everything, okay? And if you want to create two files, you can do that command, ping, and hit enter. And now I'm going to make a directory called workshop, right? That exists. Oh, that means that I have already. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to remove that first. Now, create it again. Because I use this workshop account for demo for practice. And now we have a workshop account. And if I want to remove the file command, what should I do? RM, yes, command. And another thing I want to let you know now is that if you want to type a file name or directory, you don't need to type everything. Just type C and then tab. It will fill all of the spellings for you, okay? And remove command. And if you want to rename, how to do that? Rename. If I want to change from one name to another one, touch is to change the timestamp. Right?
Yeah.
I will change the name from testing to testing.txt. And let's check. How to check? ls, okay? And we have testing.txt, and I want to copy, move it. Testing.txt to workshop. And if you want to check whether the file is successfully moved to that directory or not, you can use list and workshop. Yes, testing.txt is there. So this is the first practice. No, the second practice. Any questions so far? And any questions from online? And I have already included the answers to those questions. If you want to use that later, we will provide the slides to you. Have any questions? I will continue with some of other commands. So just now, you move that file to the directory, right? And if you want to go to that directory and check how to do that, this is the things about navigate. If you want to navigate to somewhere else from your current working directory, you need to remember this command. CD means change directory. Very good. And if you use CD with a directory name, you will change the current working directory to a different one listed here, right? And there are some other very useful ones you can remember to, you can use CD with tilde. We talk about this means home directory, right? So just guess, if you want to use CD and tilde, where do you go? To the home directory. And you can also use CD only, and that's do the same thing with CD tilde. And if I want to use CD dot, what do I do? I'm going to find my parent directory. So this is very important. And another one is CD dash. CD dash will change the directory to your previous working directory. So if you feel confused about this too, I will demo it shortly. And anytime in the Linux system. If you feel confused and use pwd, which means print working directory, use this command to find where you are. And this is a very good way to track yourself. Another way is that, as I say that you can always see here, a list where you are, right? So let's do some demos about CD. I'm going to clear. And now let's take a look about where I am. I'm in the home directory, right? And what do I have in this directory? I'm using ls, which is list, right? And these are the files I have currently. And I'm going to make there are some other level 1, level 2, and level 3. So here, since I want to make chain directories and let you know the difference of cd dot dot and cd dash, I'm trying to make directory and a set of directories. Dash p means that it is with the parent directory. I'm making the first level is the level 1, and within that directory, I'm going to make a new directory level 2, and on the level 2, I want to have level 3. So this is how you can add options to make dir. And now let's check. I have level 1 here, right? Let's change to level 1. We should have level 2 here, right? Yes, we have. And if I change to level 2, we should have level 3 here, right? So this is the meaning of make dir dash p. Okay, and now I'm in level 2, and I'm going to level 3. You can see that now I'm in level 3 of the directory. And if I want to use cd dot dot, where should I go now?
Level.
I'm in level 3. I'm going to find my parent directory. So if I enter, I will be at level 2. Very good. So if I go use cd dot dot again, where do I go? I'm in level 2. I want to find my parent directory, so which is level 1. Very good. So let's print out. Yes, we're at level 1. Now, if I use cd dash, where should I go? Very good. I heard the correct answer. I previous working at level 2, and now I'm at level 1. The previous working directory is not the home directory. It is level 2. Yes, exactly. So now, if I use cd tilde, where do I go?
To the home.
Home directory. Let's see. Yes, we are. And now, if I use cd dot dev, where do I go?
Go back to 2.
Yes, exactly. If I use cd dash, I will go back to the previous working directory, which is level 2. So this is the meaning of cd dot dot and cd dash. So dash can jump in the directory structure because it will find your previous working directory. However, cd dot dot only find your parent directory. It can go one by one. Make sense? Any questions? Let's take a look about another important command, which called list. Actually, we use it all the time because that is very important one to use. We always want to know what's in that directory. And ls means list, well, is the command. We can do that. And we can also do ls with a directory name. In this way, you don't need to change directory. You can list any directory you want to see. So if you want to use ls only, that will print the current working directory items. And if you want to use ls with a directory name, it will list that specific directory. What is the contents in that directory, okay? And this is to check the availability of the files. And ls or cp, these are all commands, right? And the directory name is what we call the argument. Let's talk something about the anatomy of a command. So if I use a command and an argument, I can always add some, is the name of that? This is argument. So how about this one? I add -i to ask for the interactive, and I add -n to change the default number. So what is the name of that? I mentioned that it's called options. And options can be combined. Meaning that we can use more than one options. And options can always make the command much more powerful, right? And another thing I'd like to mention is that let's take a look about the two paths. So this one is getting started from /. What does it mean? Still remember? From the root. So this path is from the root. We call it absolute path. And this path is just from wherever you are. We call it relative path. So this is the difference of the path. You can use absolute path. You can always use relative path. So relative path can get started from anywhere of that tree structure, right? But absolute path is getting started from the root. So this is the difference. And we want to use a command at some location with some method. And this is the meaning of the commands and options and arguments, right? So you can always think about list as a command and dash something as a method. And the location is where we want to do something or what we want to do, okay? And this is the example of ls. And I'd like to list all of the files, including the hidden files in this directory, okay? And this is how I combine all of the files. -l means detailedly with all of the full information of that file. And I can combine this two, and the order doesn't matter. And this is, I want to use -t means time. I want to list the files according to the timestamp, the newest. And this is -r means reverse the order of the time. You can reverse the order of the alphabetic order. So this is, you can change the order. So this is something about ls. And let's take a look about ls-l. This is what we're going to use, and detailed list out all of the files. And when you use ls-l or just ll, you can get this long format of information of that file. So let's take a look. I'm going to clear the screen. And now, if you use Linux, whenever you get back and you don't know where you are, oh, I'm at level 2, you can always do is change to the home directory, right? And from here, let's do some list. If I just use list, it will list the content according to the alphabetic order. And ls-r can reverse order, right? Okay, if I want to list all of the files, including the hidden files are these files with starting with dot. And they are usually the system configuration files. And if you just list, it will not show up. But if you want to see all of the files, you can use ls-a. And as I see that, if I want to list all of the information and with details, this is how you can do that, right? And if I use detailed information with timestamp, so this is the list, detail list, and you can check the timestamp, the newest first. And you can always reverse the order. And it will reverse the timestamp order. So R can add it to many of the things, and it means to reverse. And we have already used LL. And if you use LL, you can see that it will contain all of the information of that directory. So what does it mean? Let's take a close look of it. We use list, detail list. It is long format. And these are the informations that you will get for your file or directory. So the first one, let's look at the first letter first. So D means directory. And this is the file permission. We'll talk about it in the next slides. And the second is the number. This means how many files, how many items in that directory. And this is the owner of this file. And this is the group of this owner. And this is the size of the file in megabyte. And this is the timestamp. And this is the name of that file. So this is the basic information. And let's take a look about what does it mean of these letters. So the 10 letters here is the file permissions. The directory means it is a directory, and or it is a file if it is a dash here. And the 9 letters will be separated into 3 groups, and each of them will be means by read, write, and execute. In this case, you can think about it. I am the owner of this file. I can read, write, execute. And my group members can read, write, execute. And all other users on the HPC system, can read, write, execute. So if that always be the truth, it will not that secure for your file, right? So you can always change permissions about to make it like this. Let's take a look at this example. This is a file or directory.
File.
Good. And I can read, write, execute. My group members can read, execute. I don't want to modify it. Make sense? And for all others, I can let them read and execute, but do not modify my file. This is how I can do it. And this is a directory, right? I can read, write, execute. My group members can read, execute, but do not modify it. And all other users, I want to protect it as private. I don't want all other users to see it. So this is the file permissions. And you can always change that within your command. And let's take a look about trap. So as I said that this is an executable file we have already provided in the workshop account, right? And as you can see that it is a file. I can read, write, execute. And the group members read, execute, not write. And others read, execute, not write. So if I want to change mode to I'm changing the mode with some numbers here, means that, and let's list it again and see what happens. I protect my file. I still can read, write, execute. My group members still can do that. And all other people's, I don't want them to access to the file. So this is how you can protect your file. And the command here, you doesn't need to worry about it now because it's the introduction of Linux, and these are some of the advanced commands. And if you can understand what does it mean, that is good enough, okay? And let's take a look about find. So if you want to find a file in your system, you can use find with a pass. If you do not define it well, starting from your working directory. And expressions can be name, type, size, and this is how you can do that. Find dot, and then I want to find by name, and this is the file name I'm going to find. When you hit that, if you have that file, it will be there. Okay, makes sense? Let's take a look about the find. I'm going to clear it, and let's take a look. I'm going to copy hello.cpp to level. Now, what I did now is that I copied hello.cpp to another place, and let's find and see how many copies we have now. I'm going to find from current working directory, and I want to find by name and hello.cpp. See, we have 3 copies. One is under my home directory, another one is under level 2, and there's another one in demo. This is how you can use find, okay? Now, let's take a look about this basic command. You have already tried this commands by yourself, right? And the only thing I want to mention is that echo can print out the string argument. It can also print out some of the variables, environmental variables, such as if I echo with pass, it will show you all of the passes on the system for the executable programs. So when you tap any of the commands or any of the tools, it will search here from one by one for where is the program is, where you can find. If you have that program, you can run it successfully. So this is the pass. And you can see different passes separated by column. And this is how you can get help. If you want to learn a command, you can always use there. This is how you can learn. If I want to learn echo, use name and echo. And it will teach you how to use this command, okay? And use Q to execute, and information do the same thing. Type will let you know what type of the command is. For example, echo will be the built-in one, and which echo will tell you where the command is located. This is a very important command to remember because it will tell you where that tool or program is located. Still remember that we use echo pass, and which can tell you exactly where echo is. So if you see that echo is located in PIN and USR, we can find it here. And here's the path to echo. And that is why you can use that on the system, right? And always remember that whenever you have questions, use help. And it will tell you how to use that command. So this is a good way for you to learn by yourself later. Now, let's talk about clear. We used that before. And you can use clear to clear a screen, and history is the one to tell you how many these commands you have already used. And Q is to get out, and exit is to exit the terminal. Okay, so this is some of the keystrokes. And if you have the up arrow what will happen? You can try it. It will list the commands you have already used, the recent one. And this is a way to use the commands quickly if you want to repeatedly use some of the commands. And the tab I have already introduced. What does it mean? If I want to submit, I don't need to type submit, and that will be very slow. Tap S and tab. It will complete the typing for you. And Control C is one to exit from the current task. For example, if I'm in the middle of the process and I want to get out, I'm going to send up the google.com. So this is a command that I'm sending some small packet to Google and see hi and see whether Google is reachable or not. And it keeps sending. And if I want to get out of that, how to do? Control C. And as you can see that I have sent it 15 packets and all of them receive meaning Google is reachable now. Okay, and Control L is the keystroke for clear. So that do the same thing. Make sense? This is the last questions, practice questions. Let's do it together, okay? And raise a hand if you have any questions. So this is the basic thing about what we've done before. We have the workshop account. If I want you to check the timestamp of that testing.txt file, how to do that? Which command you can use that? Yes, you can try that. And it is continuous with the hands-on practice B. You can use LL for that, right? And touch that and see what's the difference of the timestamp, right? And LL can check the timestamp. And if I want you to create a new directory, new workshop directory, so first you need to cd to change directory to workshop, and then make directory, right? This is the look how we can do that together. And I want to check the timestamp of taxing.txt, right? So I have the workshop account, I have change directory to that, and then LL, and it will show you the timestamp. And if you want to update that, we need to touch it, right? Touch the file, and let's see again. See the timestamp change, right? So this is how you can check the timestamp. And I want to make another directory named Linux demo. And let's take a look. Yes, it's here. And I want to rename that directory. How to do that? Oh, very good. Linux demo to my FSU ID. And let's take a look. Yes, here it is. And I'm going to copy the file to the new directory. And that's it. And the second part. Take some time to do the second part. If you want to check where the file in that directory, whether I successfully copy or not, how to do that? You have already copied that to ls, very good. I can do ls and then the directory, right? How about I change directory to that folder and then ls? Both works, right? So there are several ways to do this question. And if I want to show the full path of my working directory, where am I? How to do that? Working directory. Yes. And if I want you to change to your parent directory, how to do that? cd dot. Very good. And now, if I want to change to your home directory, how to do that?
CD tilde.
Very good. cd tilde or just cd. And let's see, we're here. And from here, would you please do the 9 together from your home directory? I want to find this file from current directory by name and asking that. How many copies do we have? 2. Yes, that's it. And I will clear it and exit. So that's it. And this is the answers to the questions if you want to try again later. And yes, I think that's all about commands. And if you are interested in the RCC account, how to register that, if you are faculty members, we only need the FSU ID to set up everything. And if you are a student, you need your FSU ID and a faculty sponsor to register. And the faculty sponsor could be any of the instructors or professors in your department. And if you're a guest, you need to get a guest FSU ID first and a faculty sponsor in the university. And if you are off campus to use APC, you need to set up the VPN. And this is how you can do that. And then there is a dual confirmation to do that. And this is another way to keep it secure, keep your system, your directory secure. And this is the resources. We are the Research Computing Center at FSU, and our location is Dirac Science Library 151. And this is our website. And we have HPC Drivers Ed, which is a series of short videos to teach you how to use the HPC system. And it is developed by Jose. He's sitting there, and you will see him in the short videos. And additional documentation can be found here. And these are some of the Linux resources. We have a cheat sheet, which contains a lot of the most common used commands. And there's a Linux book you can use, And these are the two Vim tutorials if you are interested to learn a text editor. And if you have any questions, feel free to send email to support@rcc.fsu.edu if you have any questions or concerns. And this is the following workshops of RCC. We'll have a parallel R led by Jose on October 14th at the same time at here. And we have introduction to SQL at October 21st. It will taught by Casey, he's not here, and the same time location. And this is the Red Cap Launcher and Collaborate meeting. And that's it. And please do the survey if you have time and give us some feedbacks and we can improve the workshop later. And thank you so much for coming. And if you have any questions, you can ask us and we will work around. And if you don't have any question, you're good to go. Thank you so much.